Chapter 7 War of the Currents. In 1890, the Westinghouse Corporation was in trouble. It was losing money. To help his friend George Westinghouse, Nikola did something remarkable. He tore up the royalty clause in his contract. That means he would never earn more money from Westinghouse. Nikola didn't mind. He was more interested in his inventions helping people get electricity than in making more money. Nikola's partnership with Westinghouse was a big problem for Thomas Edison. At the time, very few homes in the United States had electricity. The average city might have had street lamps, but people in the countryside wouldn't have been seen them yet. Electrical lines had not yet been set up. There was no way to carry electricity over great distances from the generators. But it was clear that whatever company could find a way to bring electricity to homes in the United States was going to make a lot of money. Nikola and Westinghouse believed that alternating currents was the best method. It could travel great distances at high voltage from a large power plant, then be transformed to a lower, safer voltage for homes. Since direct current couldn't be transformed, it could only travel short distances at a safe voltage. Direct current would require a small power plant to be built every mile or so. Thomas Edison had already started building those power plants. His first DC power station had opened in New York City in 1882. He knew if AC became standard, he would lose a lot of money on his direct current stations. So he tried to convince the public that using alternating current, Tesla's big idea, was a bad and dangerous thing. He worked hard to spread the line. Edison distributed thousands of pamphlets that said alternating currents was deadly, and horribly, he teamed up with an electrical engineer to electrocute stray dogs with alternating current, and it worked. Investors and public officials became scared of the AC technology. Nikola knew that any electricity, alternating current or direct current could be dangerous. How could he and Westinghouse prove AC was just as safe as DC? In 1891, the year Nikola became a citizen of the United States, he gave an art lecture before the American Institute of Electrical Engineers on alternating current. The next year, he gave talks in London and Paris. While in Paris in 1892, Nikola received a telegram from his uncle Peter saying that his mother was sick. I made the long journey home without an hour of rest, Nikola said. His mother died several weeks later on April 4. Back in the United States, George Westinghouse scored a huge victory by winning the contract to power the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago in 1893. Westinghouse got the job because he offered to provide the electricity for less money than Edison did. The first all-electric fair in history was a bad chance to show the world that alternating current was safe and effective. More than 200,000 light bulbs showcased the power of alternating currents at the Columbian Exposition. In the Great Hall of Electricity, Nikola wowed onlookers with demonstrations like the ones he had given in his New York City laboratory. World's Columbian Exposition. The World's Columbian Exposition, sometimes called the Chicago World's Fair, was held from May 1 to October 30, 1893. It celebrated the 400th anniversary of Christopher Columbus' arrival in the New World in 1492. Nearly 200 temporary buildings were erected over more than 600 acres to house 65,000 exhibitors from all over the world. 14 buildings surrounded a giant booth that represented Columbus' voyage from Spain. More than 25 million people attended the fair. There were thousands of fun and interesting exhibits, and there were also many new products on display, including Cracker Jack popcorn, juicy fruit gum, and shredded wheat cereal, and up to 38,000 people a day, more than 1.4 million people in all by the end of the fair, rode the world's first Ferris wheel. By the end of the 6-month exposition, Westinghouse had won over the public. Visitors to the fair could see for themselves how safe and useful the AC lights were. Alternating current soon became the standard technology for delivering electricity to consumers in the United States. But winning over the public was only a part of the battle in the war of AC versus DC. Actually, getting electricity into people's homes would be the more difficult part. Nikola looked to Niagara Falls for answers. Ever since Nikola read about Niagara Falls as a boy, he had been intrigued by hydroelectricity, the force of falling or flowing water to produce power. The rushing force of the fast-moving water turns a wheel called a turbine. The spinning turbine turns a metal shaft in the motor that generates electricity.